Really a flattening of the curve in British Columbia. Joining us live is Jeanette Duazo. Jeanette,
Hello, Alma.
how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And hello to our viewers.
Okay, so what are your updates for us, Jeanette?
Yeah, so on April 6th, that was Monday, British Columbia reported numbers that were telling a slightly different story compared to Ontario and Quebec. So those two are other provinces here in Canada, where the number of confirmed coronavirus cases appears to have hit a possible turning point. There were 63 new cases over the space of 48 hours for a total of 1,266 cases. Ontario reported 309 new cases for a total of 4,347 cases, while in Quebec, there are 636 new cases for a total of more than 8,000. So on April 7, the following day, during the announcement of latest coronavirus cases in Canada, the Chief Public Health Officer of Canada, Dr. Theresa Tam, acknowledged that British Columbia's number appears to be trending in the right direction compared to the number from last week. She also said that while it is too early to tell, this is very encouraging. So British Columbia's Provincial Health Officer, Dr. Bonnie Henry, acknowledged that cases are actually slowing. So she attributed the slowing of cases to widespread testing and the restrictive measures prior to the March spring break. So as of today, April 8th, there were 45 new cases of COVID-19 in British Columbia for a total of 1,336 cases, 5 new deaths for a total of 48 COVID-19 related deaths in BC, and 838 people who tested positive for COVID-19 have recovered. And also today, April 8, British Columbia Premier John Horgan announced that people returning home from international travels, including the United States, must complete a self-isolation plan, which will be reviewed by provincial officials. The self-isolation plan can be submitted online or completed in person on arrival. So with that, starting April 10th, this coming Friday, provincial government officials will review travelers' self-isolation plan at key points of entry. So Vancouver International Airport will be the only airport for inbound flights coming from outside of Canada. There are 4 land borders, though, crossing between British Columbia and USA, so that would be part of it. Provincial officials will be there reviewing for this traveler's self-isolation plan. So the directive is very specific in that if the traveler's plan is adequate but need to organize support like grocery drop-off or filling their prescriptions, they will be escorted to a provincial accommodation to begin self-isolation. They will be escorted home once all their supports are in place. So another one is if the plan is adequate, the travelers will proceed home to start their self-isolation. So, and another one, if the travelers do not have a plan at all, they will be escorted to a provincial accommodation where they can safely complete their 14-day self-isolation. So Premier Horgan said that the plan is a legal requirement as it reinforces the federal emergency order under the Quarantine Act, requiring people entering Canada to self-isolate for 14 days, which was implemented since March 25, 2020. So to ensure compliance with the order to self-isolate, the federal government uses its authority, enforceable by the RCMP or the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, that's the federal police, or the local police. So maximum penalties for breaking self-isolation orders include a fine up to $750,000 and or imprisonment for 6 months. Alma.
All right. Thank you so much, Jeanette. Always good to hear from you and good to see you again. Thank you for your time. Much
Yes, sir.
appreciated, Jeanette. Always. Thank you.
Yes. Thanks for having me. Reporting live in Victoria, British Columbia. Jeanette Duazo will live in interesting times.